Because if Sony internally, like from a corporate view, a competitive standpoint, they find out, sir, this we came across some new intel or whatever. Like here's exactly, Mark Cerny told us because he's working with AMD and he heard it through
And what I
AMD.
tell you about this, and what I tell you about this shit. I mean, goddamn, I got a yodelahu. Yodelahu. Didn't I tell you that they look at that nigga Mark Cerny like he's fucking Tony Stark? So now he's a damn double agent inside working at AMD, getting inside information. Do you hear these COPES sessions?
Mag mentioned Returnal did very poorly on PC and PlayStation. I know Returnal was not a big seller. I think Returnal struggled to even get
But I thought that exclusives is what sold consoles.
to 1 million units sold, which is very unfortunate because Returnal is an incredible game. It certainly deserves more sales.
I seen him say that. I think he said the same thing about Astrobot. What does deserve more sales mean? That's a very interesting wording, when it comes to the sellings of video games. But all right.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. Like, here's what would be surprising to me about Returnal being announced for Xbox. It wouldn't be the fact that it's announced for Xbox. Like, oh my god, it's a single player.
I'm pushing X to doubt, boy. You hate Xbox, right? just admit it. I mean, they've put games on Nintendo. They've put game on PC. And I didn't see you guys, having therapy sessions, backwards hat MBG, right? It's looking like you guys are pretty upset that there's a possibility these games might be going to Xbox.
Their game on Xbox. It would be the fact that, like, why would you announce it? Like, it's just the implication that Sony would prioritize the Xbox storefront over the Switch.
I mean, if there's money to be made out of the Xbox storefront, and you're saying over the Switch, and this is what I mean, this is the thing that you always do. You always take things that are like pretty factual, and then you try to pull more quote unquote factual things out of it. Just because they're putting it on Xbox and it hasn't been announced for the Switch 2 doesn't mean that they're over prioritizing it. They could be announcing it for the Switch 2. You truly don't know unless you're in those business rooms. Would you know? But then again, here we are. It's an MBG stream, right? It's a Press X podcast. We have to pretend like we're in those rooms.
That to me is what would be surprising. Now, there is the whole conversation of maybe they couldn't get it running on the Switch 2, but if it's on PC, you could
no. If it's on PlayStation, goddammit. If it's on PlayStation 5, they could probably get that shit on the Switch too. I mean, here go these guys again, right? Pretending like that damn PS5 is just on a whole nother level. I mean, come on.
Probably play it at pretty low settings. They could probably do a Switch 2 port. And that's what would surprise me. Now, maybe do both. Maybe just, maybe just make Returnal full multi-platform.
Yeah, I mean, Sony's multi-platform, right? Right? Why not get as much as the money as you can? Why not? It's almost like that's the point of business,
right? At this point, if you're going in that direction. But that's just what's weird to me is it's like, if Sony were to do something like that, it would basically invalidate everything we've assumed about the Xbox.
Oh, what you guys have assumed has been invalidated. That's why I'm wondering why you guys are still going. You guys just keep on going. You won't stop. You guys keep on getting invalidated. If anything, that's like kind of the name of the game at this point, right? What are they going to be wrong about next? I mean, why are you guys still doing this? You guys have been so off so often, but you just continue.
Platform. Sony would be the one to invalidate it. And that would be such a crazy turn of events. Because we're over.
Not at all. Not at all. Who else could it have been? Who else could have ended it? Who else can put Sony's games in other places? Oh, they're the ones in control. It's always just been them. But somehow you guys have inserted yourselves into the equation. And you guys actually think that the way that you guys feel about it matters. What's it called? Go over into the business side and influence the business side of what Sony does. That's why this whole fanboy shit is, I'm not going to lie, man, it's a content farm. Because there's no way that you guys are actually serious.
We're here being like, well, you know, Xbox players don't really buy games like that. Like, if your game did poorly on PlayStation.
And this is what I mean, where you just said that a lot of shit that you said is, has been invalidated, right? So why are we still running with this? These Xbox guys don't buy games. Obviously, they buy enough games for PlayStation to put the game on, Xbox, right? I don't think PlayStation is just moving blindly, right? I'm pretty sure they probably looked and they're probably using some type of model, some type of something to determine that they're going to be able to sell the game well, right? If they didn't think that the game would sell well, then they probably wouldn't bring it over. I mean, but go ahead. Keep on coping.
NPC, that game's not going to do well on Xbox. That's the basic logic, right? That's our assumption. But
yeah, that's your assumption. You're saying that's basic logic, but there's no logic behind that. If anything, if you ask me, the logic, if you trust Sony, if you think that Sony knows what it's doing, and let's just be honest, you guys think Sony won. You guys think Sony's number one. I mean, look at your room. You love Sony, right? So Sony knows what they're doing, right? So if Sony knows what they're doing, then why would they be putting a game on Xbox if it wasn't going to sell? You think they're putting it over there for it to collect dust? No, they're putting it over there because they think it's going to sell. Why would they do a commercial with Halo ODST? They think it's going to sell. You know what I mean? I know we're talking about Returnal, but I'm talking about the game that they recently ported that's caused all this mess. You know what I mean? Which is funny because no matter what, the games are going to be playable on the next Xbox hardware. But nonetheless, man, these guys are still coping.
It's based on, sales data and history.
What
so
sales
if Sony
data?
were to come out and be like, okay,
what data in history? No, false. You guys find numbers here and there on Twitter, and you guys run with it and draw narratives. Not once have you ever heard PlayStation come out and say, "We'll never put our games on Xbox because games don't sell well on Xbox." You've never heard PlayStation say that, ever. That's just shit that you've assumed because, like I said, you like to pretend that you work for Sony.
Okay, so this single-player game here didn't do too great on PlayStation 5, and it really didn't do well on PC. Let's see how it does on Xbox.
Yeah, hopefully it does well on Xbox. Hopefully Xbox guys will buy the game. Right? I mean, shit, I enjoyed Returnal. And I've been saying, right? Anybody that's been watching me, especially my live streams, I've said it, and people are going to say, oh, he's port bagging. I don't care. I don't play both of the goddamn games. What I was saying is if there were two games that I think the Xbox audience would enjoy, it would be Returnal and it would be Days Gone, in my opinion, right? But we'll see.
And it's like, I don't have a problem with it because it's like, whatever, I guess. But like,
you don't have a problem with it, but it's whatever, I guess. You're exposing yourself, dog, right? I think it's cool. I think it's dope. Seeing the cross up, seeing like the assault rifle, the Magnum and shit, like, I thought it was dope. I thought it was a cool cross up. They got the recon helmet and shit. Like, I thought it was cool. Like, the fuck?
What is the expected outcome here?
Money.
What I'm saying? Like that
money. What? No, I don't know what you're saying. I don't understand it at all. What else? It's the only outcome possible. What did you think? Loyalty, love, respect, quality? What the hell? Money. That's the expected outcome. We're bringing a game. These guys like to play games. Hopefully they'll buy this game and play it. That's the expected outcome. That's what it's always been. What more could it be?
To me is what kind of, now if they come out and they're like, we're bringing Returnal to Xbox and to Switch 2, that makes sense to me because that's like we're gonna
because it lessens the blow, right? It lessens the blow. I mean, dog, you guys are down bad, and I mean that.
Put Returnal everywhere. and try to maximize sales across the board. That would make more logical sense to me than them just making an Xbox port, because it's like the Switch 2 is selling like crazy, and the next year is probably gonna, I don't know, probably be on pace.
Look, console sales, console sales, console sales. That's all that he talks about, right? I mean, god damn, dog. They're trying so hard to make sense out of it, right? And these are just off of rumors. You know, I don't like to run with rumors, but these are just off of rumors. The rumors even got them shook, right? But as we know, they always run with rumors. So, you know, what am I talking about?
Same pace as the Switch 1. And Switch 2 players are conditioned to buy games at full price. You know what I mean?
And there we go again with shit that you've inferred about the condition to buy games at full price, right? I mean, I love Game Pass, right? But I'll buy Madden every year, even though I know that it's dog shit, right? If people like a game, they're gonna buy it. You know, that's what gamers do. Gamers buy games. How people have sat here and tried to literally try to disassociate that shit with Xbox users to make it seem like they won't buy a game if they like it. I just think it's weird, and I'm not gonna lie, it comes off to me as cope. Like I just don't know how they actually believe this type of stuff.
But I don't know. Maybe, and just to play devil's advocate here and try to see the other side of it, maybe there's a chance that Sony just looks at the novelty factor of it. You know, where it's like maybe any game we choose to port to Xbox will be guaranteed to sell well, just because it's like, look at this, a PlayStation game on Xbox. That to me is incredibly short-sighted, and frankly, like, that would be a foolish reason to do something like that. But it's possible.
To you. And don't get me wrong, the whole novelty thing that he's talking about, I don't know. Like dog. Quit coping. But I have to address the whole, to me, it would be a foolish thing to do. Well, like I said, if you were in those office meetings, they would laugh you out of the building, nigga. With the hat and all, nigga. I mean, goddamn. First off, they tell you to take the hat off. So I don't think you'd make it. I don't even think you'd make it in the room because they tell you to take the hat off. Nonetheless, what is this guy talking about?
I mean, I don't know how the minds of these executives work. I don't know how they're operating. You know, I don't know what they're looking.
So then what has your podcast been for all these years? Because that's all you ever do. That's all you ever talk about. Like that's the avenue that you take the discussion down. But you don't know. You're self-admitting that yet you don't know how they think. Well, we already knew that. You didn't have to tell us. But go ahead, continue.
The only other logical thing I could assume is that if Returnal went to Xbox, or if Returnal was announced for Switch 2 and Xbox, the only thing that makes logical sense to me is we want to get people excited for Soros. So we want to basically give this game to more people.
Basically because they're just giving it. And let me guess, right? People are going to enjoy Returnal, and then they're going to be like, oh, what do I got to do to play Sorrows? Oh, I got to buy a PlayStation to play Sorrows. I'll buy one. It's the Cokes to PlayStation shit all over again. I mean, these guys are just stuck on repeat. It's insane.
So you'll pay attention to Soros. That's the only other thing that makes sense to me. But yeah, I mean, it's clear, like, that's just a rumor, right? Coming from, who'd you say it was? Mag. I don't know if he's going to be correct in that or not, but it'll be interesting, certainly. It'll be very interesting to see how this plays out.
Oh, yeah, I don't think you guys are going to last, man. I think it's going to break your heart. We got another one of this boy, right, where the cope really starts to come out.
Sony would benefit from going day and date with PC. Sony would benefit from going day and date with PC.
Yep.
If PlayStation goes multiplat, we're not going to hear the end of it. Well, no, that will be the end of it. If PlayStation, like, the moment a single player game goes multi-platform, to a lot of people,
I mean, single player games have gone multi-platform. All your single player games are on PC. What? I keep on cutting them off. These guys cope, but we're seeing it in real time. This is what I was talking about. You sit here and say that you don't care about games being ported to Xbox, but this is proof that you guys do. Because you're talking about single player games going multi-platform. Single player games have gone multi-platform. There's been single player games that's gone to Nintendo, and just about all the tentpole titles have gone to PC. And then on top of that, a game like Death Stranding 2, even that game came to Xbox, right? But they say it didn't count. It didn't matter. It didn't count. I mean, this is just cope and delusion.
It's already over. You know what I'm saying? But for the people who are still left, kind of being like full slate, this and that, I understand why. But it's like if a single player PlayStation game goes multi-platform, then that's the end of it. Then yeah, there's exclusivity is done. And
I mean, that's what one would think, right? But I've seen you guys continue to pretend like your games are exclusive, right? I mean, I'm just saying, like, I've had PlayStation fanboys come at me saying, oh, well, you can only play Death Stranding 2 on PlayStation, right? So what do you mean the games aren't exclusive, right? Even though everybody knows that the games are going to other platforms. So I don't know. That's what you guys are saying, but we've seen single player games go to other platforms, and you guys still cope and act like exclusivity is alive, right? Timed exclusivity.
I will have the same view of it that I did with Sony embracing PC, where it's like, well, we can still call. It's like, oh well, Death Stranding is a PS5 exclusive because it's not on PC, and it's like, yeah,
And you see, this is what I mean. Here goes the loopholes, even though they know it's going to PC. Go ahead.
that is technically true, but I don't really view it that way. I mean,
yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I got you caught in 4K, buddy. You go back and see the goddamn video I did like damn near a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, with the Death Stranding goddamn thumbnail, right? There was a bunch of PlayStation guys upset in that video, right? Because your boy Siggy walked out when this game came out, when all these guys were trying to talk about exclusivity, and I reminded these guys that the shit was coming to PC and that it was probably coming to Xbox. And these guys got so upset by that fucking fact because that's what the first game did. But go ahead and pretend like you don't care about games going to PC. I mean, these guys be capping.
If I'm just viewing it for what it is a timed exclusive, but everybody knows it's going to go to PC. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
And that's fine. And if
well, shit, you sure had a problem with people letting you know it's going to PC when it came out, right? That sure did rain on your whole parade. We sure did get some cope, some seed, right? We sure did get some rage from your ass because people were in your comments letting you know that the game was going to go to PC and probably Xbox. So I mean, this is new news to me.
That's how Sony wants to operate going forward. That's fine. But the whole conversation of like,
if that's how Sony wants to operate moving forward, that's fine. Yeah, good thing they got permission from MBG, right? I hope they're watching the Press X podcast.
Exclusivity in the terms that in the way we used to view it, that will be dead and buried, except if you're on Nintendo.
I don't know, man. I think you guys are still gonna hold on to that shit somehow.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens, man.
Oh boy, it's already done happen. This is what I mean. This is why I have no faith that these guys are just gonna all come to the conclusion that it's over with. It's already happened. What do you mean? But I mean, this guy is insane, man. Just go ahead, dog.
Oh, and you think it's not going to happen? We have Still 9. He says, MBG, the most logical reason why PlayStation doesn't wait for Xbox PC to drop next year is because of the price. Once Sony found out about the pricing, they probably came to the conclusion the majority of those Xbox players are going to stay on the Series consoles. That's actually a great point, New Soul. I didn't think about that. That's actually probably the most compelling reason I've heard so far.
But I can see people kind of taking their time to go to the next gen, right? I do think that's what the average person does. I think it's only like really the diehards who were like there the night that a new console comes out trying to buy it, right? I don't have any data, right? That's just my opinion, right?
Yeah, we have been talking extensively about this next Xbox and how it's apparently going to be very expensive. It's going to be very, very powerful, but you're going to pay for that power. And so, yeah, you could kind of see how it's like, well, at that point, Sony probably is just going to view it the same way they view high end PCs. You know what I mean? Um, and so if you have, I mean, yeah, if you have like right now, like 20,
And look at it. So now we're going to hop back into the well, it's technically a PC. It's not a console. Even though the people who are manufacturing it are calling it a console, but I see what he's trying to do. I think I see the glimmer of light that he's seeing at the end.
million people still turning on their Xboxes, they're not going to PlayStation. They didn't go to PC. Even after Microsoft went multi-platform, they're still hanging around there. Sony could have the view, they could have that exact view. Like, yeah, we're not worried about the next Xbox because it's going to be such a niche product. You know, most people, it's just going to be a high-end PC. That's how Sony's going to view it, as a high-end PC.
And here we go again. That's how Sony's going to view it. How do you know that's how they're going to view it?
But the series consoles, actually, that's really interesting to think about. That Sony might just view this might be Sony's way of basically confirming that there is no more console from Microsoft after the series consoles. Because if Sony internally, like from a corporate view, a competitive standpoint, they find out, sir, this we came across some new intel or whatever. Like, here's exactly, Mark Cerny told us because he's working with AMD and he heard it through
And what I
AMD.
tell you about
Here's
this, and what I tell you about this shit. I mean, goddamn, I got a Yodelehu. Didn't I tell you that they look at that nigga Mark Cerny like he's fucking Tony Stark? So now he's a damn double agent inside working at AMD, getting inside information. Do you hear these COPES sessions? Do you see the mental gymnastics that these guys are going through to accept the fact that their PlayStation is putting games on the Xbox? I mean, god damn, I ain't never seen no shit like this.
the next Xbox is going to be. Here's the OS it's going to use. Here's how much it's going to be. Sony has all that info.
Oh yeah, from Mark Cerny. Mark Cerny's got all the information, all the inside information. I don't know, man. Y'all be the ones getting hacked and shit. I'm just saying, like, right? Don't it be the PlayStation guys who be getting hacked, having their shit just all out there on the internet and shit, held for ransom and whatnot?
Because they have an ear to the ground, I guess, when it comes to AMD, and AMD is the one working on this stuff. Sony may look at that internally and be like, that's not a console. That's a PC. And if that's how Sony...
Like you guys. So Sony's going to see it like you guys, coping. It's not a console. It's a PC. Even though the people who are making it have made videos. It's funny how, like, he's going through all this hypothetical about them finding out about secret information and coming to the conclusion that it's not a PC. But it's like, don't you, if you think that Sony has like a hidden spy, right? Somebody of the hidden of the leaf, right? A shinobi of the leaf, right? Don't you think that they would have, if that's the case and they're interested and they're paying attention, don't you think they would have watched the video that Sarah Bond did? Don't you think they would have watched the video that was released from AMD talking about how they partnered with Xbox to make consoles? It's funny how that just goes right over their head because, like I said, they've released 2 videos saying that they're going to continue to make consoles, right? Don't you think Sony, their Intel team, right, their secret team getting secret information about the next console, don't you think they would go to that video? Wouldn't that be a good place to start? I'm just saying, man. But instead, we got Mark Cerny in here on some double spy shit.
Sees it, then that means they're looking at the Series X and S as like, well, that's the last console from our competitor. They're not making any more after this.
Even though they have videos showing that they're going to continue to make consoles. But I mean, go ahead with the cope. We're starting to repeat the copes. So now we're going back to is it really a console? It's technically a PC. Now, don't get me wrong. It's going to have PC capabilities, right? But the people who are manufacturing it are saying that it's going to be a console. And I think they're intentionally using that word, that terminology, right? Because what they're essentially trying to do is they're trying to win over people who are fans of that ease of use. Even though I've said it plenty of times, I think PC is easy to use. I think a lot of people just fearmonger it to make it seem like it's more complicated than what it is. But, you know, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother video. You know what I mean?
And this might actually just be, this is just speculation. And I'm not, you know, this isn't like, there's no console warring here because it's just the.
No, there's no facts here. There's no source here. There's no data. My bad. This is just straight up cope.
Console wars are done. But it's just like they may be viewing it as, well, you know, this is as good as it's going to get for the final set of consoles, home consoles from Microsoft, our competitor. What was
It's the final countdown.
Once our competitor. We may as well just see what we can get from it before it totally. Because let's face it, do we see growth occurring when it comes to the Xbox storefront and ecosystem? I don't think anybody sees growth.
I don't know. Do they? Do they? Show me the data. This is what I mean. Show me the data. And now he's talking about, I don't think anyone sees, but you're the one posing the question. You're the one asking the question. I'm just saying.
There. I don't think even Microsoft sees growth there. I think it's about.
You don't think, right? But where's the data to support that?
Retaining maybe who's left, but understanding that once the next generation rolls around, they're still going to lose a lot of people, you know?
Retaining who's left, but understanding that when the new generation rolls around, they're going to lose a lot more people. Even though, from what I'm seeing with the hardware seems like it's going to be able to do more than ever. Access more storefronts. Right now, how they actually cross that finish line, the price and everything, I do think that's going to have a lot to play into it. But as a PC guy, I think that, you know, I think that sounds worthwhile, right? I could see someone spending money on such a device, right? Rather than a closed box where you got to pay to use your internet. And I've said that multiple times. Hopefully Microsoft does away with that shit if they are going with like a more PC-centric hybrid console that allows you to be open platform to access different storefronts. Hopefully it'll have a desktop mode. I don't know, right? We simply don't know. But again, we're making assumptions, right? That there's going to be this mass exodus. And we're also assuming, we're also coping that it's not going to be a console, right? I don't know. Like, it just seems a little bit delusional. All of this for what, right? Because you realize that there's a chance that you're going to start seeing single-player titles go to Xbox. Why would you guys care? All your single-player titles are available on PC, right? But they don't care about that. They just care about that darn Xbox. And I think that's become very clear.
It's all just speculation, but it's interesting to speculate and it's interesting to think about because these definitely are unprecedented times with these companies and these brands.
Unprecedented times. Wow. Well, it's been your boy Sigs and Serial. Shout out to everybody who made it to the end of the video. Until next time, peace.